So just going to go straight into it and just asking you ladies a question, if you don't mind. Just want to ask a question that's just kind of like a recollection question where we just kind of reflect on just, the moment you accepted your queer identity and how you lived your truth, and also what brought you to that moment and how did you feel and how did you prevail? Should I pick? Let me pick. I'll pick Nana first.
Go first. So I think for me, the time I really accepted myself and decided to live my truth was actually after I came out, which was in 2010. I came out to my parents. And it just, ever since that moment, it was a weight lifted off my shoulders. I felt like I could finally speak and have my words mean something because I was who I was meant to be, finally. Kind of, ever since then, I've never turned back. I've just gone forward. I feel great. I'm happy, And so it really was around 2010, the year after I graduated from high school, is when I really decided I'm going to live my truth and do what I need to do.
What brought you to that moment, Nikki? Like what was going on for you before that moment?
You mean Nana or Nikki?
I mean Nana. Sorry.
Honestly, what led me up to finally coming out was just the fact that I did not like having to hide from my parents. Nikki was my first relationship, and I jumped in and I felt great. And after a couple months, I didn't feel right. I had a very close relationship with my parents. I still do. Mm-hmm. And so it was difficult for me to live two different lives, one that they could see and one that they couldn't. And so I just kind of got to the point where I needed to say something or else I felt like I would implode or just lose my mind. And so I think another big part of that was that I felt confident that I had found my life partner. And so I was just like, there's no reason for me to really be scared. This is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. Yeah.
At what age did you feel like, did you feel confident, like I found my life partner?
Honestly, it was probably when I turned 18, because we started talking and dating when I was 17. But after I had come out already, maybe a couple months in, she started coming around the family, not as my best friend, but now as my girlfriend. And so things just started to change completely for me. And that's very, very short amount of time. I knew I was going to marry this girl.
What's up?
I would be allowed to one day, and thankfully I was. So, yeah.
I mean, you didn't at all think like, you know what, I'm young, I should see what else is out there, like, there's still some pretty girls out there. I have yet to, fully live out my sexuality. Like, that didn't dawn on you when you made that decision of like, this is it?
Honestly, like, okay, so my group of friends, pretty much they're either just bi girls or lesbian girls. And so, of course, right off the bat, they're like, have fun, go explore, do whatever. Like, you've known this girl your whole life practically. Like, you want to go and like, but to me, it was just like, I feel like I found it. There's really nothing else for me to look for. So, I mean, and if there is anything I would like to try, I know her well enough to know that she is too. So.
That's what did that do for you personally? Like when you finally uttered those words to your parents and, like kind of just set free. Yeah. Like how did that land for you?
It's the best way I could describe it was, it really was a life-changing moment for me. Mm-hmm. Just because from my childhood all the way through high school, I was always taught a certain thing, This is how you're supposed to live your life. This is what you're supposed to do. This is who you should love. And it never sat well with me. And so just leading up to that, it was just, I don't even know how to, what was I?
No, just like it was like a big weight off of your
It really was like it really was almost as if something physically was in my mouth. And as soon as I said those words, all of a sudden the true me could express herself. I could finally be like speak and know that my words may not mean something to someone else, but they mean something to me because I said those words as myself, not as, somebody telling me what to say or teaching me how to be. Right. These are my thoughts. I challenge these, and this is how I'm going to decide to live my life. So that's really...
There was just no more fear holding you back anymore.
No, there really wasn't, because as soon as I let it out, it was almost like a realization to me. Like, from the beginning, God knew, and I believe that. Okay, and then as soon as I felt like my parents knew me for the way I wanted them to know me, it dawned on me, my God knows, my parents know. Who else do I have to care about? Like, I'm living my life. I'm doing what I have to do. Like, right. I have the love of my life supporting me 100%. I have all of my siblings who have been behind me, pushing me, from the beginning, even when I thought my parents wouldn't support me. And so all around, I've had a great support system my entire life. So I'm blessed. Yeah, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
What about you, Nikki?
You said it so well. I feel like I thought I accepted myself like freshman year of high school because I was like in a secret relationship with a girl, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I get to be myself and like date a girl and I like her and stuff. But it was secret, and I still felt shame because I was hiding things, and I wasn't able to tell my friends. And I was at a private SDA school we both went to, and it was just not something we talked about, and I still felt a lot of like, I guess, internal homophobia. So I was like, this is what I want, but I don't think I'm supposed to want it, and I think it's kind of wrong. So it wasn't until after high school too where I was like, okay, we're dating. This feels very long-term to me. Like, I feel ready to like commit. So I'm really happy. I want everyone to know I'm happy, and why should I be afraid to show that and like be myself? So that's when I was like, okay, I'm just gonna tell my mom and my sister, because they're like the two main people that I wanted to talk to about it, and then I could really be like, okay, they know. I don't really care with what everyone else thinks or says. And you were supportive, and your family was really supportive too. So I was like, okay, I have a lot of good people around me. I can kind of do this and feel confident.
That's what's up. How did it feel for you to be able to say that out loud? To accept yourself out loud.
And it felt weird too, because I wasn't trying to ever get to that place where I was comfortable enough to say it and like to tell people. And now I'm like, no problem. Like, oh, I have a wife, or oh, I'm gay or queer. Like, I like saying it. I like telling people. I don't think it defines me, but I think it's a big part of who I am.
Right.
And I think it only adds to my character and everything.
Okay.
So it feels good, and it felt really good to say it, and then to have people take it in and also be like, okay, I love you. Like, doesn't change anything.
That's right. You said something really important too. You said that when you were in the 9th grade, right, and you were accepting this part of yourself, that you were trying to figure things out because before you were taught that like that the things that you were thinking of or the things that you were attracted to was wrong. Could you speak a little bit more to that journey you had to go through to unpack that? Because I feel like that's pretty relevant for a lot of folks coming up.
I think it's for both of us because we were both raised SDA and both went to SDA schools. And
SDA being Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah, Seventh-day Adventist, sorry.
For those who don't know.
Yeah. So it was a big part of like Adam and Eve, homosexuality is an abomination. People like really love that word. And, it's a sin. If you sin, you go to hell. So it's all very daunting, and it's a lot for kids to take on, especially be like, wow, I'm 7 years old and I'm going to go to hell and I don't even know what I'm doing. And this feels right to me, and I feel like God still loves me, but everyone around me is telling me it's wrong and there's something wrong with me. So I think it was just doing my own research and reading the Bible on my own and talking. It was really helpful to have Nana, who was also raised SDA, because we went kind of through the same thing, so I could speak openly and not be afraid. She's going to be like, well, why do you believe that? Or why are you, struggling with it? Because she understood too.
Mm-hmm.
Not the same struggle, obviously different for both of us, but the same type of like religious background.
Right.
That kind of was difficult.
And again, I think you just saying what you said about with God, and Nana saying that earlier too, right? That like God knew what he was doing when he made y'all that way. I think that really does something for me personally, because it really just fills my cup, because I had that same kind of sentiment where it was like, no, I don't think I was made incorrectly. Like this is who I was supposed to be. This is who I was meant to be. So I hella feel what y'all talking about with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't make mistakes, so.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, right on, y'all. Thank you so much for taking that journey with us. What it do, Kaipo? Welcome to Florida Cultures Podcast. I'm your host, D-Boy.
And I'm your host, Bex Bumble.
And we got our lovely guests joining us. We got Filiaga and Nikki Soisoi-Scaglione on the podcast, on this virtual Talanoa with us. What's up, ladies? How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you so much for your time and your energy to be a part of this Talanoa with us as we continue to put out the podcast, put out content, put out these conversations for the cultures while we are all dealing with what's going on in the world right now. So, ladies, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a little bit more information about who y'all are and where y'all from.
All right. I'm Filiaga, Soisoi-Scaglione. I was born and raised in the Bay Area, and I'm married to my wife, Nicole. It's almost been a year since we've gotten married, and I am someone. So, yes.
I'm Nikki Soisoi-Scaglione, married. I'm from the Bay Area, always been in like San Jose, and I'm Caucasian. But if we want to break it down, Italian and Irish.
See, there's a difference there. You're not just white. You're Italian. You're Italiano.
There's a little bit of flavor.
Cool, right on. We really appreciate y'all pulling up to this, and it's really quite funny. We'll get into it later on as we tell Noah, but Nikki actually reached out to us to suggest a topic of discussion for us to have, which we're gonna have today, y'all. Let's start a family, right?
Yes.
But as we always do. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and my partner. My bad.
Let's start a family. That's my favorite title right there. Shout out to the creator who made that. That's your sister, right?
Like that one.
Sister inspired.
Yes, inspired. Yes.
I like that. Yeah.
It was these two who came up with it.
Let's start a family. Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. This is like one of my favorite parts of our show, our segment. This is our grounding segment, and basically we ask our guests to ground us, to prepare us, just to kind of prepare us for our chop it up section. And this can be done in prayer, in blessing, in a proverb, in a quote, in a favorite Tupac line, or
hit 'em up.
Since y'all from the Bay, Tupac still, but Mac J, some 40, whatever.
Probably from the Bay too. Right?
So in a scripture, just whatever you both feel that that you just want to kind of share and release to us and to our listeners.
Word, ground us in this combo.
Donna or Nikki, feel free to bless us.
Okay, so today I've actually, there's this quote that kind of helps Nick and I when we go through difficult times or just when we need a little uplifting. Author unknown, but the quote is, "Trust the timing of your life. Stay patient, stay calm, stay determined, stay focused, and most of all, trust your journey."
Mm.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
How does that sit with you both when you guys reflect on that?
For me, it's a constant reminder that if I do my part, staying patient, calm, determined, focused, and trusting my journey, then the timing of my life will kind of fall into place.
Yeah.
And what are like some of the tools that you use to come back to a place of being patient, to come back to a place of being calm, in the midst of so many things that are happening in this world, and even living in the Bay Area, it's, sometimes it's hard to do those things. So what are like some of the tools that you both do to each other and share with each other when those times get hard?
Well, I like to take some space for myself sometimes, some quiet times. Just
Hey, yes, Lord, I heard that.
I do like when I just need some time to kind of like gather my thoughts before I come to her to have a discussion or anything. I like a little bit of space. And
Is that because it's you process better alone?
Sometimes I do, and we're realizing we have sometimes different like talking techniques and conversation techniques. So I am getting better at, we talk all the time and I love talking to her, but I think it comes to certain things I just want to wait a little bit and then come to it. So, but I'm getting better. We're talking a lot more now. Yeah,
for sure.
So that's an improvement actually. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I really love that. It's trust the process, right? And be humble. Everything happens for a reason. I love that.
Any concerns or anything, I go to her and I'm like, hey, I'm freaking out or I'm having a bad day. Can you just tell me something that will make me feel better or calm me down? Because she knows like who I am at the core. So if I'm ever like getting off track or not beating myself up or even just like worrying too much or anything, she'll kind of like bring me back down and be like, okay, you've got this. Like we can do it together. You're not alone. That's always helpful.
I mean,
That's what's up. That's
what the hell did y'all find? Y'all just
You're perfect.
Getting on my nerves. I'm hating.
Does Nana have this cute way of like calming you down, or does she have kind of like this joking, funny, humorous way of like doing it? What does that look like?
She's cute all the time. So sometimes she'll make this want her to do like a funny face, she'll do it. Or even if I just need something, like even if I want space or quiet time, she's so good at still being there physically, but like giving me just time to process. And she's like, hey, whenever you're ready, I'm here if you want to turn over and talk or anything. And she's always good with jokes too. Just
Nana, way to hold space for your wife, man. Come on.
I really
she's
love
my
her.
number one. I have to make sure she's okay in order for me to be okay.
Yes, Nana.
Thank y'all so much for grounding us with that passage. That was a great quote. And it actually leads us right into our Talanoa, where we finna chop it up with y'all and get to know y'all some more. So now we know that y'all are married, celebrating, coming up on your 1-year anniversary. So congratulations.
Thank you.
We just want to hop right in, because y'all alluded to it a little bit in the recollection, but can y'all tell us about your love story?
Okay. Wow.
Y'all want to be cute and stuff?
Really briefly, pretty much we met in around 1999. She was in 2nd grade, I was in 3rd grade. We both were in school.
What grade were you in, partner?
1999.
In 1999, what grade were you in?
Oh, I was living life already, partying by then. College.
I was going into the 9th grade.
Wow, nice.
And y'all over here talking about 2nd grade and shit. Okay, my bad. Go ahead. We're going to go back on mute.
Yeah, so we met second, third. You were in second grade. I was in third grade. We didn't really get too close until around 2005-ish, when we were a little older. We actually went on a ski trip, and that's how our friendship really kind of solidified. Both of our best friends ended up hanging out with each other, so we were left alone to hang out with each other, and then it kind of just went from there.
It's just like a friendship thing, though, right? It's just friends.
Yeah, strictly friendship. We just had so much in common. We thought the same things were funny, and so.
Did y'all know about each other at this time? Did y'all know about each other in terms of like each other's potential sexuality? Like, was there any kind of assumption?
Nope.
Friends.
Strictly just two straight friends in a little church school, like living our best lives, and you know.
Okay.
So
two closet queers just living their best life.
Happy in the closet together.
Oh yeah, and I would say we actually remained really good friends through high school as well. It wasn't until after high school, my aunt had planned a boating trip. My sister had invited some friends over to go on the trip with us, and so I was strictly going to hang out with my family, but Nikki was there, and we had a couple of drinks that night, and some things were said, and we just, old feelings started to come out, except now we were older, and so we're just like, wait a minute, like.
Were you guys already giving each other sexual energy before those words came out, though?
Okay. Yeah. Was there tension? Did y'all feel it like?
I know you guys must have felt some energy.
It's a little tricky. I had a boyfriend at the time, so.
Unbelievable. Now that's
the gag. The gag is.
That's an abomination.
Right. Thank you so much.
No. That's some player shit. That's some player shit.
So I did have a boyfriend at the time, but prior to that, I think he was really great. This was nothing on him. I was just comfortable in that relationship, and I think I knew, like, okay, my attraction to girls has not gone away. I think I prefer them, in fact. But this is comfort, and I'm not out or anything. So at the camping trip, when we had some alone time, I was like, oh my gosh, I used to really like you. Like, I had a huge crush on you in 7th grade, and she was like, what? And I was like, wait, they're reciprocated? And then she was like, yeah. And we realized, like, oh, wow, we were really into each other. Back in the day, we just never said anything because it was, like, so frowned upon. And so then I tried to make advances, and she was really good. And she was like, no, you have a boyfriend, so nothing happened. And I was like, okay, you're really good.
Well, he was my friend,
yeah.
So.
So then
you're loyal. You're a good friend.
Yeah, she's a really good friend.
Hey, Nikki.
So it sounds bad, but then I came home and I was like, okay, what I feel for her is not going away. If anything, it just reignited my 7th grade giddiness. And I'm like, okay, I'm so into her. So I told my boyfriend, we're done. And then I told Nana, we're together.
What the heck?
Yeah, she didn't.
How are you gonna just make your side piece like an instant boo? That like he's gonna be like, okay, side boo, get over here. You are now my girlfriend.
No, not side boo. That wasn't side boo.
That was low key side boo.
It's the real boo.
Yeah.
Now after you broke up, now it's a real boo.
Yeah, it was like probably within a day or two. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm ready. We can be together.
That's some lesbiana shit right there.
I feel you.
Yeah, because I just knew. Even if we weren't together, maybe it wasn't going to work out. I wanted to go 100% into it because I felt like I have these feelings. I've had them for so long. Let's just see where it goes. I really think this can work.
Yeah.
So it did.
And you were just looking at your little sexy brown coconut.
Brown sugar.
He was like, this is what I want.
That nice pancake, crisp. I mean, what was going on with you, Nana? What was going on with you during this whole triangle? Okay, Nikki.
It was quite the roller coaster. I mean, going from never being in a relationship to all of a sudden having this whole
A day later, surprise!
like, oh, okay, so I am gay and I like someone who has a boyfriend. Like it just kind of all happened overnight. And my best friend, she was really good at making sure to take care of me and my mental health at the time. She came to visit me every day, made sure I had time to go walk, clear my mind. And she kept reminding me, it's going to be okay. We'll figure things out. We'll work it out. And
were you going through something? I mean, was something hitting you hard?
It was just not confusing at first. I just felt like so much had happened in such a short amount of time,
Oh, yeah. It's like
just in a one weekend, all of a sudden, all my feelings that I had suppressed came back and then confirmed that, yes, I am the lesbian, And so it was just like a lot. And so my best friend was just trying to be there for me with that. And then it was just,
it's like all the waves coming in and crashing, huh?
Yes, but well worth it, obviously. Yeah.
Did you guys have your first kiss like right after, Nikki came back and said, guess what? I'm out.
Not quite. First kiss was a little awkward.
Yeah, it was a little rough because we still, our parents didn't know anything at this time. So she like came over to like watch a movie, and then it was like still kind of getting to know each other because we knew each other like on such a deep like friend level, but then it was adding in like
now that we knew this side,
the other feelings and everything.
It was a slow process.
Yeah.
You guys are being good little church girls. Okay, that's cute.
Right.
Yeah.
Now there's some good grown women. So y'all got together. How long did y'all date before the question was popped? And who popped the question?
Well, I would say 8 years.
Yeah.
It was a little over 8 years, maybe, or almost 8 years.
Almost 8, because it'll be 10.
Yeah, 2018, May 2018 is when I proposed. We were in Hawaii, and because we usually go to Hawaii like once a year, we try to. Yeah. Just so happened that year we went during her birthday, and so I was just like, hey, I'm gonna do it, whatever. So did it, and that was great. It was fun. Yeah. So that was in 2018, 8 years after we got together. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
That sounds like a little shade there, Nikki. Was you waiting?
I think I was, because I just was like,
you almost did it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, anyone can propose. I feel like, it's not the man's job. It's not anyone's job to do it. Anyone can propose to anyone. But I was just like, if you don't do it, I'm going to do it. And in my mind, I was like, but I want to be proposed to. I was like, hold it on. But I was like, I'm going to do it if I wait any longer.
Nikki.
Yeah.
What's your sign?
I'm a Gemini. Everyone hates Geminis.
No, they're cool.
Thank you.
What about you, Nana?
I'm a Virgo.
Oh, Lord. You poco.
Oh, yeah, that's me. I believe it.
I mean, what are you, partner?
Librarian.
Oh, my goodness. Gang, Taurus gang.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That's cool. So, Nana, you popped the question. How'd you do it?
Let's see. How did I do it? We went to the beach. Yes, it was Kalama Beach. I think in Kailua. Yes. Beach. We actually got some shave ice right before. Because I was waiting for my photographer because her flight was a little late, and so we were trying to kill some time. Ended up going to the beach, and then as we're setting up, I'm trying to pull her away so I can kind of set up my little And I tried to get her phone so I could FaceTime her mom while everything was happening. And so finally I was just like, whatever, she's not listening, because she kept trying to change because she wanted to go swimming. And I was like, wait, I'm trying to do something. And so finally I just got down on my knee and I was just like, I tried to pull the ring out, but I think she knew. She freaked out and she put my hand back in my pocket. Like, and I was just,
she's like, no, get it.
And she was like, stop, what are you doing? And I was just like, so I pushed her out and I got on my knee and then she started crying. And then she was like, does my mom know? And I was like, ask her yourself, she's on FaceTime. And then she started crying more. And then it's just a lot of tears, lots of pictures. But it was fun. I mean, right after, it was like a nice little drizzle. Cooled us off, but it was a good day. It was beautiful.
Really good.
That's sweet.
Cute. You're so cute.
She actually proposed to me a couple months after.
Yeah.
Just so that I could have a proposal and get to experience it.
And it was at Don Pedro where
it was Don Pedro where we first started dating.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So do y'all both got engagement rings?
Yes, we did. Yes. I had a nice titanium.
I can't stand y'all.
It was really cute.
This is so corny, but I love this. This is the reaction that, like, every time y'all talk about something, oh, I like that, gang. Gang. That's so cute. So now, I mean, let's fast forward this wedding.
Yeah.
Let's just chill on the wedding for a minute, okay? Because I had not even tripped off of who you were until you hit us up. And so I went and looked at the photos and I was like, okay, this is a queer couple. This was up. And I was astonished because I was like, I seen y'all wedding photos. And for those of y'all that's watching, you probably have now seen the cover art that has gone out. You see their beautiful wedding photo. They're both wearing beautiful wedding dresses. Now, my stereotypical ignorant ass, I'm like, okay, when two women get married, it's usually one woman's wearing the dress and the other woman wants to wear the tuxedo. Or both wear tuxedo. I think I've seen it too. Rarely do we see, two women wearing a dress. And so I just thought that was so beautiful. Can y'all tell us about your wedding and what went into that thought process of both of y'all wearing your dresses? And it just looked so beautiful overall. Was it in Hawaii?
No, actually, it was in Morgan Hill.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Right there.
It was at a mansion, huh?
Willow Heights Mansion, yes, right off of Bailey, I guess you can say. But, yes, beautiful venue. You want to go ahead and take this?
I'll take a little part and then I'll go into you. Okay. I always wanted to wear a dress. I just love wedding dresses. I like the whole idea of weddings, and I think the dresses are just so beautiful. And you just, once you're in one, and so I always figured I'd wear a wedding dress, and then when it came to Nana, I was like, whatever you want to do, you're going to look beautiful either way. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to have your moment, and whatever you want to do, I support any clothing option you choose. So then, how did you decide to wear a dress?
I had to sit with it for a little while. Only
because this is something you usually wear, Nana?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Yes. So me, anybody would see me, you'd automatically think, okay, she's Jewish. Which is correct. I'm not gonna go ahead and say you're wrong.
The Rogers.
Go ahead, yes. But
bang bang.
Yeah, and so with the dress thing, it was not too hard for me to decide, only because when I sat down and really asked myself what I wanted to wear and I weighed it out, the reason I wanted to wear the dress is just because I feel like I would feel pretty on my wedding day. It's something I've always just pictured myself whenever I pictured my wedding day. And I wanted to give myself that. Whereas if I were to wear a suit or whatever, I may be more comfortable in that moment. But when I look at the pictures, it's still going to be different from how I pictured it in my head, pretty much. Sorry, excuse me. But when it came down to choosing, I just kept telling myself, I think this is what I want, even though it's not what people are used to seeing me in. This is what I feel comfortable doing, and this is what I want to go forward doing. And so I did it, and I don't regret it. I'm glad I did. I had fun, and surprisingly, the dress was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. For real, thought I was going to be carrying around like heavy ass like blankets, but the lady was so nice, and she did it all, fixed it up, made it like look right on me. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna do it, whatever. Like, I'll dig it. So it was cool. I'm glad I did it.
You both look beautiful. I love you.
Stunning. Yeah.
Thank you.
Real stunning, and it was just so joyous. The whole occasion, just from the photos that we got to see. What's something that sticks out in your memory from y'all's wedding?
Go ahead.
I'm thinking.
Well, for me,
yeah, you go ahead.
Right off the back, I think the thing that got me immediately and the most was when Nikki actually started saying her vows. If you know the both of us, it's like you would know that I'm the more sentimental one. I do more of the planning and all the like emotional, romantic things. And so when she starts spitting her vows out, I was just like, get ye. And I was like, whoa, wait. All of a sudden I'm crying. I'm just like, wait a minute. And so I was a little blindsided. So by the time I started reading, I was like fumbling on my words and didn't flow as nice. And I was just like, man, you just can't swoop on me with that. Yeah, but that was like one part where I was just like, oh, you do love me. I can see like you really tried in this one part that you usually are a little shaky on, but I saw it and I felt it. Yeah. Thank you.
When y'all saw each other, how did that hit y'all?
We did do a first look, which I think was a great idea because I could get all of the crying out. And I was shocked. I mean, she's beautiful in anything she wears, but I think seeing your soulmate, love, whatever, in a wedding dress or in their wedding attire is just so different. I don't know. It like solidified, like, oh, we're doing this. Like, we're both in, I don't know, we're getting married. And so I think when I saw her, I was just overwhelmed with like love, and I don't know, I just looked so happy. Yeah, major heart eyes. Just. Oh.
What about you, Nana?
It was the same. I mean, after that first look, it's just, I mean, it's an emotional day from like start to finish. Yeah. I see people that I haven't seen in years and just going through it with you. I was just like, man, this is literally the setup for the rest of our lives. Like, I'm ready for this, you know? I've been ready. It was nice.
Did any of you two have like any friends that gave you both the talk of like, are you sure you want to go through this? Like, you haven't dated anyone else, that's your first boo. Are you sure? You're still young.
I feel like jokingly, but then with a joke, there's always like some truth. So maybe they'd be like telling Nana, like, are you sure you want to marry Nikki? Like, you have other options. And I was looking at him like, okay. But I think it was all in good fun. And, just because we have been together, it'll be like 10 years next month that we've been together. So it's been a long time. And so I think it's understandable. People might be like, are you sure?
Well, I think the thing is too, like all of our friends, because we share the same friends. We've known each other like practically our whole lives. So I think once our friends found out that we were both out together and happy, they were finally like, okay, we've known too, it's about time. Like, so they were just super supportive, and like they'd make jokes about it, of course, but it was all, all in good fun.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah.
Oh,
how was it doing the traditional dance, Nikki? Because I think there was a picture where you were in the middle, and it looked like the traditional couple.
I did. That was probably, I was so happy to do it because as soon as I walked out, I locked eyes with Nana, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so wonderful. Like, I wanted to like show my appreciation and love for the culture and like really immerse myself into it for the dance. And like, I don't know. So it was amazing. Right before I walked out, I had blacked out. I had no idea what was going on. I looked at her brother, Ofisa, who was going to walk me out with her cousin. And I was like, I don't know the first move. I can't do this. Where's Aonoa? Like, I can't do this. I need to take a minute. And then and I was like, we're doing it. And I walked out there and it was like so much adrenaline and
Great.
it was really, really fun though. I just felt so much love from like your side of the family and my side. My family was like, culture, wow, like they loved it. And just, I think it brought everyone together. And then you looked so happy and I was happy. It was just really, I was really happy to do that.
That was awesome. How long did it take you to learn it?
Oh, her sister taught me the dance and we practiced a couple weeks, and then she'd come over and I'd be like, can we run it a few more times? I'm missing this part, or I'm catching, I'm forgetting
like
something. Probably a month it took solid. And then as soon as I did it the next day, I could not remember one move. It like left my memory. And even now, if I think about it, I have little to no memory of it because I think it was just so,
Okay.
I have memory, but it was really good.
That's awesome.
That's what's and so it's going to be almost a year coming up, huh?
Yes.
And it's y'all are a married couple now. Y'all been together for hella long, and now you're all on this journey to start a family, huh?
Yes.
Let's start a family. So let's talk about it. What does starting a family look like for the both of you?
Go for it.
Well, starting a family for us is we've had like fur babies and dog children, and now we want a real baby and a human baby.
Human
Yes.
babies, yeah.
Right.
Like
My bad.
four-legged babies are real babies. Hold up.
So a human baby, because a lot of our friends and like family, there seems to be the time everyone's kind of getting pregnant, having little ones, and we want so badly to have a child and just raise good human beings. So that's our next goal, is to try and have a baby, and ideally we'd have more than one, but trying to get the first one right now.
Did you guys have this conversation of wanting to have a child before you guys married, or was it after you got married and then you decided to have this conversation?
Before.
It was like after that.
Yeah, after we got together, I started planning our lives. So I was like, okay, how many children do you want? Because I want this many.
We pretty much, once we got together, we just started planning everything.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're going to get married, we're going to have kids.
Uh-huh.
That's it. We just got to make it happen now.
Yeah.
So.
That's cute. And then you guys decided, like, who wants to carry? Did you guys decide that beforehand?
Yeah, like what were the options that y'all came to with thinking about how you will start your family?
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead. Go ahead.
We both do want to carry. So I think for both of us, that's something we've wanted, and we both want to try to have a child, or at least carry. So that was something we always talked about. As far as who went first, I think I just like raised my hand. I was like, I'll do it. Like, I want to do it now. So I'll go.
Child,
yeah.
And so she's willing to go first.
So I was like, I'll do it. Yeah. And then we came to the conclusion, okay, it's a little bit trickier because if Nana were to go first, and picking up a donor for her, there's hundreds of white donors that are available and accessible to us. So that would have, seems to be more of like an easier route in a sense, just because we could right now go online and order and then, get started. But if I'm going first, we're in the process now of trying to find a donor, Samoan donor. Yeah.
Someone specific donor.
Yes.
Okay.
For right now.
Yeah, for right now. I feel like, yeah, you say it. You say what you can say, because I know what you say.
No. It's pretty much, we both would like to have the Samoan culture just because I was born and raised in it. It's something we want to raise our children in, just to be as close, how was I trying to say it?
Like a mix of us.
Yeah, like as closely mixed pieces of us as we can. However, that is not the deciding factor because regardless, we both would love to be mothers, and a mother is a mother to a child, any child, you know. And so, don't get me wrong, the someone isn't our deciding factor. It's definitely something we want to try for, because if possible and we can do it, then why not? And not only that, if we can help out other couples out there who have their own reasons for wanting to have someone, babies or donors, we can hopefully try to help them out, get them situated, because it's pretty lonely and discouraging, especially when nobody really has an answer as to why there aren't a lot of donors.
Right.
So, yeah. So
I think that's really important. Thank you for naming that and letting us in that deeply. That it's something that you definitely want, but it's not the deciding factor. I think that's really special, and I believe that that's when you reached out to us. Sorry about that. That's when you reached out to us to suggest this kind of topic, because you're in the market. And then we had a conversation, because interestingly enough, I have a friends who inquired the question to me of like, would I be interested in donating, so that they can have a child. And I was like, dang, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I would, like, want to be a part of the baby's life or whatever, or just, like see or something, like just know something. And my friend was like, dang, that's the same kind of thing we dealing with some more people, like these guys, they don't just want to do it.
Yeah.
But we know there's some deadbeat motherfuckers out there too, so. But okay, so insemination is the way that y'all, obviously, is that the only route that y'all were thinking of in terms of starting your family, or were you all thinking of other?
Yeah. Well, we're looking at IUI insemination, but then we also are definitely open to adopting, whether we carry one, each of us, or one of us, we want to adopt a child regardless. So we will be adopting. It's just a little bit of a longer process, especially with what's going on in our current state and country, where the president is trying to
45.
45. Thank you. I don't like saying it. So 45 is trying to make it so that adoption agencies can turn away gay and lesbian queer couples simply based on religious reasons. So we're trying to go this route because we have it within our reach, within our insurance, and it's accessible to us right now. So
you mentioned the IUI route. Can you kind of break that down for those who have never heard that before?
Yeah. So commonly, couples struggling with infertility or trying to conceive artificially, they can go through IUI or IVF. IVF is the more costly of the two. It could be between $10,000 to $15,000 per try. And in California, it's not covered through your insurances. IVF is in vitro fertilization. So that one would be egg retrieval, and then they fertilize it, and then it's putting it back into the uterus. So that one is more invasive. There's also maybe medications involved. It's a little bit of a longer process as well for the person going to carry the child. And then IUI is intrauterine insemination. So that is where they take like a long, thin catheter and then take the donor sperm, insert it back into the uterus, and then hopefully you get pregnant. So that one is also cheaper. Depending on insurances, it could be fully covered. You might just have some copays, and then you have to pay for the sperm, of course. But without insurance, it also is about, I wrote it down, it was like $800 to $1,700 per try. So definitely more cost effective with IUI.
So in simple form, the IUI is the egg stays in the body and gets fertilized. And then the IVF is the egg comes out of the body, gets fertilized, and goes back in.
I
Nice.
believe you do more than one egg. So with IVF, you definitely have a greater chance of having a successful pregnancy. Whereas IUI, I think they say is like 10 to 20%. And then, oh, my face. And then IVF is like 40 to 50% of success rate. I'm like,
Mm.
The sun's going in.
Well, no, that's good to know. That's
That's really good to know.
yeah.
And I think earlier, we had talked a little bit about the difficulty with finding a Samoan-specific donor. And I gave my little anecdote about like probably why it's kind of difficult is because they want to be a part of the lives. But why do you all think that there is also that kind of challenge with finding Samoan specific donors?
Yeah. We were looking last night at the requirements to be a donor, just so we had it on paper. There's an age requirement. It's 19 to 38. Some places will cap off at 34. There's a height requirement. It's 5'8". Some places will do 5'7". They want you to be enrolled in college and either have a 2 or 4 year degree. You have to show proof of your transcripts and everything. Also, what is the other thing? That's the height, college, healthy, legally allowed to work in the U.S. Also, with a lot of these places, it's a big commitment, not just with, obviously you're giving your sperm and stuff, but time, and you have to be able to go and like have labs done, pop in for physicals, psychological exams, and then they follow up with you while you are still a donor on the site. And I was looking at the Cryobank of California, which is used a lot by California, Washington, Hawaii, as well as Canada. And on their site, they say they take probably 1% of all applicants make it through to the next phase to actually be donors. So they have a very stringent process to get these donors. You have to go through rigorous tests, extensive family backgrounds. They do full medical histories. They talk about your sexual partners. It's a lot that you have to commit to. And so with 1% only making it to these donors, to actually be donors, it doesn't really leave much room for
anyone,
yeah.
Inequitable.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. No wonder why there's so many white donors.
We went online, and currently right now there's 473 available. 296 are white, 122 are Asian. There's 4 that are mixed ethnic. 38 are Middle Eastern. I think there was like 48 Mexican, Latino, 14 Black, African American, and the one that was in New Zealand, it was New Zealand, but then if you go to his ancestry, which is like you describe it yourself, it was Caucasian, German, and like Korean. So it's a lot to try and find someone very specific, and it just seems like there's not a lot of options. And a lesbian couple had reached out on the site like 3 years ago and asked and said, "Hi, my wife and I were looking for a Samoan donor. We're having a lot of difficulty. Is there any insight you can give us?" And the cryobank basically said, "Well, it's a very small group of people. We have a very strict donor process because we're not getting many donations anyways. They don't really make it to that point." And it was just kind of a roundabout way of saying they don't have any and they don't really have a reason as to why, or a good enough reason as to why there are no Samoan or PI donors on their site.
So there seems to be like a lot of inequities with who is eligible to donate. And I heard you say that they do an extensive background check, and they even check on things like health, right? What are some of the things that they look for in terms of healthiness of the donor?
One of the requirements is being healthy. They didn't really go into detail as far as what that meant to them, but it's like a 3 to 6 month screening process after you filled out an online application, where they go into more details about your family history. They want to know like parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, all of the things that they may have, and you may be prone to carrying, because if you carry something that it could automatically disqualify you from the donor program if your offspring may be more prone or susceptible to that certain disease. They kind of, I guess, want to weed out that. So that also puts people at a disadvantage and maybe eliminates them right before they even got further along, simply based on that. And that's a chance your child may or may not have it. So to me, I feel like if people are willing to donate and they are healthy, and I don't think they should disqualify them just simply based on a maybe family history. Yeah.
Because I know that something that, you know, when folks go to the doctor or whatnot, they do always ask if, you know, like, is there a history of diabetes in your family? Is there a history of heart disease and other kinds of things? And those are the two main killers in our Pacific Islander community, is diabetes and heart disease. So that would just rule us out, period, right? Like, is it based on the community or based on the individual's family's history?
I believe it's based on the individual family's history, and depending on how many donors or applicants they're getting from that community, they may already have, I don't know if they have a bias or anything already lined up, saying like, okay, well, they're more susceptible or prone to this. It's hard to say. They don't really have too many answers online, but I know if a straight couple goes to have a baby, they just have, you know, they get pregnant at home or at an office, but you know, the doctors aren't being like, oh, well, do you have a history of cerebral palsy, or are you missing like this, that, and that on your aunt's side? You just have the baby. So I feel like for people who are having trouble conceiving and wanting to have a child through donor sperm,
should be able to make that choice.
it just, it seems added. Like we're having all these things like, oh, do you really want this in your child's life, or a possibility, where as heterosexual couples don't really have that option. They just have their child, and, you know, they not really run the risk, but they're not going in depth with everything that these cryobanks are, because they want to have a child. They'll love the child regardless. So it just seems like extra stuff.
A lot of loops, a lot of hoops to jump through, huh?
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I mean, that's something that's new to me is this that there's requirements. I thought you could just, you know, like any guy could just go and be like, oh, I want to donate.
That's what I thought.
It's some quick money. It's good, you know?
Yeah.
I thought that too.
It seems so easy in movies from what I've seen, or on shows. They're like, oh, I need like $50. I'm going to go donate real quick. And it was like, that was it. I was like, okay, cool. So like anybody can do it, but it's not anybody. And I think the price is more now. You get like maybe $125 per donation, and then you might get extra more if like you actually get accepted, and then people purchase your vials. But while you're still a donor on their site, or you have sperm available, they want you to still come in for testing. So it's a big commitment, because if you do get through that process, you need to be able to go to the labs or go to their assigned places to have tests done, to still donate so that they can test the samples. They still do health checks. They'll do STD screenings. They follow up a lot with you, just to make sure you're all staying healthy and nothing has really changed. So it's a big, big commitment time-wise.
If you had the option to pick a donor, what would some of the qualifications be that you would want from that donor? Like, have you guys ever thought about it? Like, does he have to be like you would like that donor to be graduated from college? You know, like what are some of the qualifications that you both look for when it comes to a donor?
I feel like I look at other things. I want someone who's like kind, who's selfless, maybe loves their family, likes animals. I'm looking at more character traits, I guess, versus like
things
accolades
that can't be taught, really, because all those other things that they're making requirements, I'm just like, that really just depends on your circumstances and your opportunities, you know. So it's like you're really just blocking people off because of where they're located or because of how they grew up, rather than who they are on the inside and the type of person, you know, the type of change that they're making in the world. Like that, I feel like, is what we should be making these, you know, things based off of. But it's all based on things that go to school to learn, like, you know. So why our kid could learn those things too. We can just send them to school. Like, we just want someone who's nice, who's kind, who understands, you know, people are people, love is love. Like, you know, just be a good human being. You know,
maybe a little taller. I don't know. That's
Oh, I love that.
a little bit of height, but
Oh my
honestly,
God.
we're both like 5'4". I will
Height
take
does
anything.
not matter. Hello.
I know.
Hello.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with height.
I'm just saying. We will take anything.
You know, they can grab things.
There you go. I can't reach everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, goodness, this, you know, it just sounds like a rigorous and strenuous process. I'm sure this is not the only way to go about it, right? There's plenty of other ways that folks can go about it, but this is just the route that y'all have been researching, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
I do think it's different for everybody. This is specific to us and what we've noticed with our insurance and our provider,
Yeah.
and based on what our doctors have told us. So this is what we're trying. But I know a lot of people who do at-home inseminations and do things totally differently on their own, and it works for them, and they have these beautiful, healthy babies. So I really think it's whatever you and your partner are wanting to do and decide. Or you by yourself. Yeah. Anyone, yeah, who wants to raise a child or have a baby. There's so many ways to do it.
Just raise them to be kind, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
We
be
need
kind.
more good people in this world.
Right. Well, how does this, you know, like, how does the this process impact y'all mentally, spiritually, and physically? You know, this sounds like it can be very challenging and weighing on y'all's mental health. And so I just wanted to kind of ask, like, how does this process impact y'all?
It's a little discouraging at times. Not most times. I won't say most times. We do have our moments where we kind of just get fed up and we're just like, why are we even doing this? You know, whatever. We'll just go adopt or something. And it's just, although adoption's a great option,
Yes.
and we do want to eventually do it,
Right.
I can't help the feeling that I have inside of me that wants to have a child, you know? And so I want to try for it and do what we can to make it happen. It's just when not all the resources are there, you know, and then you start to see why they're not there. And so it just kind of shows you just kind of like how not messed up, but just how things could be better for everyone. Little changes to benefit everybody, but it's not something we don't really bring it up a lot in a negative light. We kind of bring it up so that we can uplift each other.
Yeah.
We'll go back to it and reference it, like, you know what, this happened and it made us feel like this, but now we're okay. And we're going to try again, you know, like once we feel like we're both on the same page and ready to restart, we do that together. But up until we get to that point, it's whatever, like you said, you need space and some time. I'll give her the space and time. Sometimes I'm the opposite of that. Like, I need you to pretty much cuddle me and tell me, like, you know, it's going to be okay. And so she'll do that for me. And so a lot of the times it's just having the conversation. This is how I feel at this moment. I think this or whatever, and I'll just be like, okay, I see you. I see where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from, and I'll meet you there because honestly, I'm on that same. And we just work together. We try to, more now than ever, especially since we got married, we're realizing before, whenever we'd have issues, we just leave it alone, whatever. We don't talk about it. Now we're good. But now that we're married, we're trying to actually converse and really understand why we're feeling this way. Because sometimes we have the feelings, but we don't know what to do with them. And so we start to like go almost crazy on each other. And so it's just something we both work on together. We just try to see where we stand and try to be very vocal about it. Do you have any?
No, I just think it's nice that we can share our frustrations or disappointments or concerns really openly, because we're in the same boat. Like, we both want to be moms and parents, and going to happen for both of us together. So when one of us is feeling discouraged or frustrated, like, I wish this was easier, or, why can't we just do this? We just talk with each other about it. We're like, okay, it's in timing. It's not the time right now. It's going to happen. We will be parents. It's not going to happen maybe today, tomorrow, but we're going to have a child, and we hang on to that. So even when it's difficult and like we're really struggling and, wishing things could be different, we're just hopeful, because one day we're going to look back and be like, okay, we wanted this so badly and now it's here, and I'm waiting for that day.
I better be like that.
Oh, yes. It is. Speak that into existence. Manifest it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Have you both just kind of done your own little shopping around with sperm donors just within the Samoan community? Like, have you all just reached out to people, potential donors, or have you all even went to like the Island Reggae Festival? I mean, like, just go shopping around. Have y'all even stepped into Tiki Pete's at all?
Oh, hell no.
There's a array of donors there,
I would just put up
No, I mean, how much have y'all done on your end to just look around and even go up and talk and have this conversation? Like,
yeah,
has that been done?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
I actually have one of my brother-in-laws. He offered last year, I think it was. And of course we were like, cool, like, I love you, like, you're really like I just love that
really
guy,
good,
and I'm really close to him, and I was just like, hell yeah, dude. But then after a little while I was like, wait, I think I'm too close to him. Like, I just feel like he's gonna one day and be like, hey, where's my kid at? And I'm gonna have to beat him up or something. Like, your kid, bro, that's mine. Like,
bro, it's not cool.
Yeah. And so, like, even though he's already expressed to me, he's like, he understands. And he told me, he's like, as soon as, you guys take this and make a child, it's your child. Like, he's like, of course, if you ever need me down the road, I will be there no matter what. And he was like, but as long as you two are alive, like, you're the parents of that child. Like, I will not step in. I will not say anything like that. And I respected that, and I loved it. My issue is the rest of our family, because I know they will recognize the child as his, like him being the donor. I know they would recognize, and they would just I just know how my family is, and it would constantly be, he's not ours, or the child isn't ours. It's like this person, and you guys took the child, and it's just a constant, like, you're not really
leave that room to Fakakala.
Yes. And so I would like to just avoid that altogether. And I've definitely spoken to, like, my brothers, and all of them are the same. They're, they would want to be a part of the child. And so I'm just like, okay.
It's us. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and I respect that, like, it's your body, your choice. Do what you want to do. I respect that. Like, but it's definitely a conversation I've had, and we've never found someone where it's like, you know what, this could work. Keeping what we need to keep private and keeping them separate from our lives, so it's a little difficult, but it's something we did try to do, and it just didn't really work out for us.
Well, look, we got a platform right here, right? That's why we're here too, We're here for the cultures, y'all. So, like, if you, but not if, you have this opportunity, right? Like, would you want to say anything to folks out there about this process who might be interested? I don't know,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to ask.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if anyone like listens and feels inspired to even just reach out and kind of find more information or see where we're at,
or curious about
the process, how they would go about doing it, how it would look on their end and our end. they can reach out, and we're more than happy to talk with them. Or if anyone is like, oh my gosh, I would love to help these loving women have a baby, then of course, please reach out. We want to talk to you. Just have questions or anything. We're definitely open to people reaching out. Or even if they have other resources that maybe we haven't found, or they may know someone who knows someone.
If they want more information.
Or more information, because this is everything I've mentioned is stuff I've just looked up. So some of, I don't know everything. So obviously there's people who know more, and I'm open to hearing all of that. We like all the information, or if anyone wants to donate.
Not to solicit you like that. It's just, hey, why not?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Any questions or anything about it? Yeah. I'm here.
That's what's up. Man, I mean, I really feel for y'all. I love your love story. I love just sharing space with y'all, and thank y'all so much for sharing your journey with us. You wanting to start a family. Let's start a family. I think that's so cool. And I also just want to say thank you for suggesting this type of topic, because I think this is, an intersection that we don't always have the access to hear, like how folks go through this process and what that looks like.
Yeah.
And that folks are trying, and that maybe there's folks out there that do want to help. And so hopefully, it can help with some folks coming forward, and also push the conversation further.
Yeah.
Break down those barriers, for folks to be able to donate.
Definitely. Yes.
Just more information for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you guys pray together? Have you guys prayed together about it?
Oh yeah, we pray together every day.
This is adorable. That's awesome. Yeah, continue to do that. We're gonna believe with you both, and you both have such a great story. I mean, we can totally feel the energy and the love that you both carry. So, I mean, it's just impossible for someone to just
for real
not want to give to you both. You both sweet souls, just genuinely just want to have children and love on that child, and give that child just an amazing life. And we just appreciate your energy, just
you want to raise good human beings.
Yeah. Keep what you're doing, pray together, speak it out, and you keep an eye out, see what's out there, and we're gonna believe for y'all.
Definitely gonna put that into existence for y'all too. Before we start to wrap up, is there anything that you two would just like to say or go over?
Well, I would like to say from the both of us, thank you to the both of you for allowing us to share our story and to put out pretty much what we're trying to get out there. Hopefully, not only this helps us, but this helps other families who I know have probably been struggling, or families to come, even like, queer children growing up who are confused and wondering, like, why am I being taught these wrong things? Like, there's nothing wrong with you. You are who you are. Like, God loves you for who you are. And just be you when the time's right to be you. Feel it out. You're on your own time. Don't worry about other people. And I really, truly just want to say thank you to both of you. I wish I had this growing up as a child. Now my child will have it in the future. So you both put in to our communities and all of the cultures that we share. So greatly appreciated. We see your work. Okay, I see you.
I see y'all.
But yes, thank you so much for everything you guys given us brand new strain of hope. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much.
Thank
Again,
you.
we appreciate y'all time and your energy, and most of all, you sharing so vulnerably with us. Thank you for letting us in. Y'all, reach out, tap in with them. Don't be Don't be disrespectful now. Don't be disrespectful.
Don't be crazy.
You're crazy. But yeah, we're rooting for y'all. We're rooting for you, Nana. We're rooting for you, Nikki. Hopefully everything works out. We're gonna stay updated with y'all.
Yes.
Partner, you got anything before
Yeah,
we?
we're all gonna have this baby together.
Yeah. This is gonna be community, baby.
And that's it. We're just gonna wrap it up just with that. You know, you ladies did a great job just doing this interview. We know it's a sensitive topic, but yet it's a breakthrough topic for the both of you, because I see just, like there's just so much liberation in the more you talk about it, so we appreciate you both for doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Much love to y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in, and we'll be back with another one, y'all. Love, peace, and happiness.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.